Thomas here with Much Props, going to give you another how-to video. Today we are building something from the DC universe. I built a lot of stuff for Marvel, and I've had a lot of requests to continue making stuff from comic books, superhero, that type build. And I wanted to make something from DC, and one of the more iconic helmets that I can remember from the DC world is Deathstroke. Now, there are several different versions of him depending on the reality that he is in, or the comic, or the TV show, or whatever. There's a lot of different styles that he falls under, and I kind of want to combine and pick and choose, kind of like what I did with Optimus Prime and Megatron. Just kind of take different versions and, do that with. So today we are going to build a Deathstroke helmet. Let's get to building. Alright, here we go. Trace the template onto your materials. I use 6mm EVA for this build. On parts label with an L, this means that that's the left side of the helmet. To get the right side, you simply turn the template label side down, trace it again, and you got the right. Only two parts have one piece, and that would be the mouth and the chin. They're not divided up. Most of these parts will get at least a little bit of heat forming. I use a heat gun and then a glass dome that should go over my back porch light that I just kind of use. The eye parts actually curve the opposite direction of all the other parts, so they go inward instead of outward.
To make the brow line stand out, I cut a partial slit in the back of the forehead, and then I added hot glue into the crack and then pinched it together to keep it open as the glue cooled down. Now you close the darts and start to work your way around the helmet. I started with the forehead, added the eyes, and then I worked my way down. I did one half at a time. I backfilled around the eyes and the nose with hot glue just to fill in a little bit and give it some support in areas. The angles on the inside don't line up very well, so it leaves some gaps, and I just wanted it to be solid. I put the right half and the left half together separately, then glue them up along the middle with the mouth and the chin. Otherwise, by the time you get to these parts to join them together, the contact cement will have fully set up and lost its tackiness. Once I had everything assembled, I tried to put it on and realized there was no way that my enormous cranium was fitting in that tiny hole. So I had to make some adjustments. The way you do this, if it's ever too small of a hole, you cut on one side, one half of the helmet, then you flip that over and trace the reverse on the other side so you get an even cut all the way across. I already made adjustments for this on the template. To To make the carbon fiber effect, I used foam paddings for shelves. It leaves a checker pattern when you spray over it. Once that dried, I masked it off and painted the other side orange. Of course I have to dirty it up with some watered down acrylic and then add scratches with some wax paint. It just wouldn't be a much props if it wasn't aged. I used black cloth with that paint effect that we did before on it, and then covered that over the right eye. The sheer white material was for the left. Why? Because most versions of the helmet, the right eye is completely covered over, it's solid, and this affects visibility. If you've ever worn a helmet, you understand this, and I wanted to make it so that you could at least see out of both eyes.
And we are finished. Here is the end result. Overall, I think it's pretty cool. It is definitely my own interpretation of Deathstroke. I realize that there's really not one that looks exactly like this. I kind of combined features, and some that I found, I liked how it had a snout, because that flat face on a lot of the newer versions doesn't leave room for a human nose. So I left the snout there so that my nose could actually fit in. I wanted to be able to see out of both eyes. I realized Deathstroke is blind in one eye because he's missing one, but I just put in black fabric with that same carbon fiber style, using the padding for shelving to kind of mask it off and do some more checker pattern in there. And then on the other side, I left a white material so that you could see through it. But I think it's a cool combination of the two. It definitely could be used to make other helmets. I'm kind of thinking maybe like Cabal's helmet from Mortal Kombat, or a helmet from Fortnite, or several others. So definitely leave a comment down below telling me what you think I should do to modify this to make it into something. I even think this kind of resembles maybe a Black Panther helmet. So maybe you'll try and make one of these helmets yourself and impress your friends with your evil villain building skills, so much so that they ask you to join their squad and become an evildoer spreading nastiness around your city. I mean, I wouldn't do that, but, you know, maybe you or your friend would. Maybe you'll get some...
Yay!
And inevitably, they're going to ask you, how'd you make that? you can give them one of these. Tell them much props. I can't actually kind of see out of it.
At least a little bit.
Peace.